St. James Field Church, a father, been on YouTube and in social media for the last 10 years. I ran for office in 2014. That's when the Republican Party liked me, the establishment. When it became clear that I did not carry water for anyone, they stopped liking me. Because I found out that the Republican Party, the establishment, I'm not talking about the rank and file like you and I, were no better than the establishment of the Democrat Party. That's right. Now everybody talks about, well, I want to earn your vote. I don't want to earn your votes. How does the typical politician earn your votes? They give you a stump speech. They tell you all of the things that they want to hear. You elect them and re-elect them. And when they get in office, they do the same doggone thing that they did the election before. Yes, sir. Vote with Democrats on the things that matter. Doug Collins has a constitutional voting record of 60%. That means 40% of the time, he doesn't vote for conservative principles. He votes for liberal principles. That is what most of them do. That is what you call a rhino. Now, early on, the GOP establishment told me, Derrick, you can't talk about the guys that are already in office. We have to stand in solidarity. Otherwise, the Democrats will win. No, they won't. If you're in a red state, and Georgia is a red state, and you defeat the rhino in the primary, guess what? In the general, Georgia being a red state, they're going to vote for the conservative. Whoever has got the R, because sadly, when most people go to the polls, all they're going to look for is the R. So the time to defeat rhinos is in the primary. Now I throw that out as an aside because I'm not in a primary. I'm running in November. So it will be in the general election, which gives us time to get the word out about Doug Collins, and we know Kelly Loeffler is a globalist. If Chester had invited Doug Collins or Loeffler to this event, they would not have came. Now, if you don't believe me, I challenge Chester to have another event and invite them, and you see what happens. They don't come because you really don't count to them. Ask them a question, you won't get an answer. Now, I said I didn't want to earn anybody's vote. I want something different. If you look at my platform, this is my push card, it's got everything on here that every conservative would support. Liberty, freedom, sound money, pro-second, a secure border, support for our veterans, local control of the education system, no more of these endless wars, pro-life. Every conservative loves these things. Yeah. And they will tell you those things. But email Doug Collins and ask him where he stands on mandatory vaccines. You won't get a response because all that you see going on today is about mandatory vaccines. Did you know that in '86, they outlawed your ability to sue Big Pharmacy if one of your children got sick from taking a vaccine? Did you know that?
Yes. About that money.
Okay? It's about the money. It's in out of the sales. Well, like when he said, well, I'm going to use the military to destroy. And all of a sudden, I see conservatives going back darn crazy. Trump just said he's going to use the military to force us to take vaccines. No, he did not say that. The word force didn't even come out of his mouth. But he took the wind out of the sails of the left. And the reason I know he's not going to use the military to force you to take a vaccine is because it's unconstitutional. Amen. They would need a law to force adults to take a vaccine against their will. That's why you need to ask Doug Collins and Lindsey Graham and all those other rhinos, where do you stand on mandatory vaccines that Bill Gates is pushing and that Fauci is pushing? And if you think that they would have a safe vaccine in 1 year, you are out of your minds. It takes 10 to 15 years to even develop a vaccine that is reasonably safe. And with every vaccine, there are risks. So you think they're going to come up with one in a year that's safe? Absolutely not. But these are the things that are at stake. And what I'm going to tell you about rhinos is this. We would not be where we are today had it not been for rhinos. Because rhinos masquerade as conservatives. And then in the back rooms, on the things that make a difference to us, they vote with the Democrats. Now I'm going to do a little test that I used to do when I ran in 2016. If you are willing to give up 30% of your constitutional protections, please raise your hand. Come on, get them up. Get them up! Wait a minute. Ain't nobody raising their hands. Now, if there's anybody out here that voted for Doug Collins or supported some of the other rhinos that are in D.C., constitutional protections with Doug Collins. So, all right, you didn't raise your hand on 30. Raise your hands if you're willing to give up 15%. Come on. Get them up high. Every single time I got down to 1%, nobody ever raised their hands. But they will turn around and go to the polls and vote for that rhino head. Grayson was underfunded. I didn't know who Grayson was on the ballot. I paid the money to be on the ballot. You will see it. There is no excuse for anybody to go to the polls in November and see Doug Collins, Kelly Loeffler. All you got to do is research, look it up. And when I said, I don't want to earn your vote, I want something else. You see, I want your trust. Yeah. I want you to trust that all of this stuff that I said I stand on, I am going to stand on in every vote. I want you to trust, because you know they just declassified a bunch of stuff that's coming out about Obama and Biden with the investigation of Flynn. You don't think some Republicans knew about that? Okay? There is no president that can classify any information, because you can keep it from some members of the House and Senate, but you can't keep it away from every Republican. A Republican, if not a dozen, knew about the investigation that was going on and how it was handled as it relates to Donald Trump. But they didn't tell you a doggone thing. Do you remember when we found out from Edward Snowden that we were being spied on? Yeah. They didn't tell you a doggone thing. You believe in God. Because God is the head of my life, not Donald Trump, not Nancy Pelosi, not Doug Collins, not Kelly Loeffler. None of them are my leaders. They're supposed to be our public servants, but they go to serve themselves at your expense. So I'm going to make a request. I have not done this before, and then I shut up. Go to GraysonForGeorgia.com. FORGA. That's easy to remember. GraysonForGeorgia.com. Sign up. Let us get your email address. And then I want you to go and start posting Doug Collins' voting record everywhere. When people know to do different, they do different. But if they don't know, they'll continue saying the same things. Oh, well, he's a nice guy. But he's voting with the Democrats 40% of the time. If you okay with that, you keep doing what you've been doing. You're going to keep getting what you've been getting. I'm out.